pull it up real quick. So basically, this guy asked me to judge the debate because, he's in a server where they're all fucking biased and dick riding and shit and favoritism, and you know me, I don't deal with that bullshit. So he asked me basically, so I'm just gonna give you the context. He's like, yo, do you think you can judge me and Apollo's little debate, Sasuke versus Lee? I'm like, yes. He's like, thanks. I'm like, no problem. He's like, I feel like I low diffed him, but his ego can't accept it. And by the way, I don't fuck with Apollo or anyone in here. I only know D1 to a degree, so if he lost, I'm gonna say it. And yes, they got ridiculous egos. Send me the YouTube link or email the vid. And then he's like, bet. I know I'm trying to get it right now. And he says it. And then I'm like, no problem, look it over when I can. He's like, did you want? I'm like, no, blah, blah. And then I'm like, all right, I'm about to hop off work and watch the debate. I'm going to react to it and I'll let you know my thoughts when I'm done. You better have slapped him. I hate that motherfucker, to be honest. And then I'm like, by the way, so far you're smoking him. Blah, 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 yada, yada, and talking, and then that's where it ends. So that's basically the context behind it of why I'm even doing this video reaction. So we're going to check this out. We're going to judge the debate. I'm already at the 32:11 mark. I've already seen all of it. I'm not listening to it again. It's just going to annoy me. But basically what has happened so far is Trey is basically talking about, when it comes to the statement, and this is basically how it goes. Whenever you have Sasuke tards, you have anyone even debating for Sasuke, the strongest evidence you can even find for Sasuke to potentially scale him over Lee is a statement where it says the strongest opponent Gaara's ever fought or whatever, yada yada. And obviously that can be interpreted in many ways. There's nothing concretely to prove what it could mean, so on and so forth, and the whole fucking 9 yards. And I'm not going to get into that. I actually have Kid Lee versus Kid Sasuke, a video that will be posted for my own production-wise of me going over the topic and basically why it's heavily one-sided. So I'm not going to get into everything. And if you guys eventually want to hear my thoughts and my take on what would actually happen in the fight, that video will be released eventually. But either way, back to the topic. So Apollo's thinking it just, pertains to Sasuke having the same physical strengths, feats, you name it, so on and so forth, and being stronger than Lee, even Lee while he's in the fucking gates, basically. While Trey's just saying, no, that's definitely not the case, blah, blah, it's contradicted, yada, yada. And basically saying that that's only pertaining to Sasuke of him having the elemental advantage, having Chidori, and being able to incorporate that with the Sharingan, and that is the only reason why he was considered Gaara's strongest opponent at that time, because he had something that Lee didn't have, which is basically the reason why he's being stated in that concept, which is not only the most likely interpretation or the most logical reason of what that statement is even referring to. It makes no fucking sense to say otherwise. When literally feats itself contradicts what people can argue for Sasuke. And most importantly, it's even stated verbatim that Lee would have killed Gaara twice. Fucking twice. With just the two Lotus techniques. Okay, so overall, and then also when you look at the narrative comparison with Sasuke and Lee, they're performing the same level of feats, just in base, both of them. You know what I mean? Without even gates. So it's like, it's so fucking stupid to just do these hypothetical rat winks for a character that, for one, doesn't even display the destructive capacity on the same level as Lee, or feats that are even better than Lee. Okay. And his best feat that he has is with the Chidori, okay? And then literally not only that, the best statement he has to even use to stand any fucking chance in this concept is him being stated Gaara's strongest opponent. That's it. That's fucking it. And there's so many ways to argue against that. Interpretation, so on and so forth, etc., or just showing feats that contradict it, showing narrative implications that contradict it, you name it. So overall, we're going to get into it. That's what's basically been established so far. They even talked a little bit about Gaara's full transformation and all that other crap. So far, as from what I've heard, and I wish I could be able to see, so I can also be able to see the scans that they're showing. That's the only thing that's kind of annoying. So regardless of the scans, I really can't say too much based off that. I can only go off with what I'm hearing from both sides of arguing. Baby Trey is fucking destroying this guy. And apparently this is the guy, mind you, I don't hate Apollo. I don't even fucking know the guy. I don't even know Baby Trey. I can give two shits about these people. But what pisses me off is this guy Apollo has probably the biggest, I wouldn't say the biggest. Noodles definitely has the biggest ego. But this motherfucker is crazy ass level of him having an ego, being extremely arrogant, prideful, and just being a fucking dickhead. You know what I mean? Acting like he's a fucking god in the debating community, so on and so forth, and just being disingenuous and being a fucking retard, okay? You know? Like, anyone that's not humble or anyone that just can't, understand the concept of, being humble, being respectful, and not underestimating other people, or better yet, at least even admitting to yourself that anyone is incapable of losing, you know what I mean, and not being the best forever, or even if you are the best, doesn't mean you can't lose to someone else or someone can't be better than you, depending on what the topic is, a debate, or let's say there's just one time you just don't perform and you're just not on your A game. Like, I can go on and on and on, But this fucking guy, Apollo, and mind you, I know this from my own personal experience of just seeing the things he types, how he acts, and how he talks in debates. Okay? He's very arrogant, very prideful, very ignorant, okay? And once again, has a very, very, very big fucking ego, okay? So, that's who that guy is. And then Baby Trey, I don't know fucking shit about him. Nothing. Okay? So, that's basically what you're working with. So, regardless, at the end of the day, also, last thing as well to say, and this is just to throw out all the fucking haters that eventually comment on this video more than likely, or for the people to say, oh, I'm dick riding Baby Trey, or applying favoritism, or I'm being biased, or whatever the case may be. Remind you, I hate fucking Noodles. I fucking hate the guy. I can't stand him, okay? But if he wins a debate, I'm saying he won a debate. Dead ass. Better yet, prime example, he debated against Six in this one debate, and Six lost that debate. And I agreed that Noodles won that debate. Mind you, I hate the fucking guy. Okay? Another example. I like Six. He's a cool guy. But I like Jay the Great more than Six, if I'm being honest with you. And I have my reasons. And I watched their debate. Six won a debate. Even though I like Jay the Great more than fucking Six. And there's just certain things about Six I just don't fuck with. I'm not trying to hate or throw any, shade or whatever or beef against Six. But there's just certain things that is whatever, and I'm not going to get into it. It's not that serious, and it's just immature to even discuss and go about. So overall, let me get all that shit out the window, okay? From what I've heard so far, from what I've seen so far, okay? And if you guys question my integrity or whatever the case may be, the video is right fucking here, bro. I will literally post a link of the video in the description down below when I post this reaction. And you guys can listen to it and watch it, and you can also give your thoughts, and so on and so forth, and your opinions. And let me know who got the W. But from what I'm hearing so far, Trey is winning, Apollo is losing. Could Apollo come back and win it somehow? Potentially. But so far, Trey is winning. We're going to get into it. Let's check it out. I'm done ranting. Let's get it.
Don't interrupt me. I'm almost finished. I'm going to remember it. You said that, I can't remember. You can give your argument for now. When I remember, I'll just give my response. Okay, I'm pretty chill.
Cool. Cool. So Apollo, does like in Naruto when you use do you use elements in fucking combat? Your ability to use elements.
Yeah, element is strength. Yeah, it's a part of strength.
The element is strength. You agree to that?
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you
I remember the point. I remember the points. So you also said something like another way you justify.
Okay, see that right there? That's a no-no. He's literally just interrupting him and cutting him off. You gotta let him finish his argument. Because he was literally just agreeing with Trey. Because Trey was trying to make a point and connect the dots. And to basically make Apollo agree with the point that he was saying. And as long as Apollo agrees, which he literally was just agreeing, that would strengthen Trey's point. And that would prove what he's saying, meaning that it could be pertaining to Chidori, etc., the whole 9 yards. But here he goes interrupting and now going on a whole other fucking thing. Yet, if it was the other way around, for these people like Apollo, okay, and I know other people that act similar to him, they start talking whatever, you name it, then Trey Wood goes to intervene and say, and they're like, oh, let me finish, I'm not done. Like, what the fuck? But remember this moment, and I guarantee you, if Apollo eventually is given his stance and point and argument, and Trey tries to intervene, then Apollo's going to be like, well, no, you need to wait. Calling that shit right now. Can't stand that shit. No equity.
It's not in reference to physical prowess. It's that, if we check the manga, we can clearly see this is not the case, or it's not in reference to physical strength. I mean, simply affirming this would not prove your point because I can literally like I can flip that logic back onto you and say if you check the manga, we can clearly see it is in reference to this parts of the attributes that have already laid out on the table. So you need further justification. But yeah, respond.
You finished it, Paulo? So, oh shit, I think I lagged
Yes.
out. It's my test. Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Alright,
Oh,
so
Popo,
yeah,
can you hear?
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for agreeing that like when you use elements in your comebacks and your elements is relative to your strength. So if you have the elemental advantage against someone, wouldn't you be stronger than that someone because you have that elemental advantage?
Excuse me, repeat that part.
Okay, I'm gonna go. So if you have the elemental advantage and you agree that elements is like correlates to your strength, you agree to that. Popo heard you, so let's not backtrack to
Yeah, I
that.
agree to
If
that, of course. That's fine.
if you go against that and you have something
Okay, that's good. So you see what Trey's doing? That's good. That's good. So he's getting him to agree to what the point that he's saying. So Apollo already admitted to it several times. The other guy was also heard it as well. That's good. Now he needs to lead it further, connect it, and then ask for Apollo to refute that, which now that's going to put Apollo at a disadvantage because he already admitted to yes, that's basically yes, I agree, blah blah, etc. With the point of it correlating when it comes to the word strength. Okay, that could easily be pertained and interpreted with Sasuke having Chidori and the Sharingan and you name it. Okay, Apollo's literally agreeing with this whole stance. So now Trey's gonna formulate it, connect it, and then it's gonna get to the point where Apollo basically can't refute that or try to debunk it because he's literally agreeing with his premises of why that debunks Apollo's interpretation of why it doesn't pertain to that, if that makes sense.
like you don't have anything that beats that elemental advantage. Wouldn't you be stronger than that someone who doesn't have the advantage of you and you have the advantage?
Well, the arguments that you're applying here would only work if Sasuke only beat Gar or was only superior to Gar because of elemental advantage, which is disproven by the fact that Sasuke was blitzing the fuck out of him. So it's both speed and elemental
Yeah,
advantage. Respond.
Cause this man is like fucking shotgunned. Jesus
You finished it,
Christ.
Paulo? So if you have the elemental advantage against someone, wouldn't you be stronger than that someone because you have that elemental advantage?
Excuse me, repeat that part.
Okay, I'm gonna go. So if you have the elemental advantage and you agree that elements is like correlates to your strength, you agree to that. Popo heard you, so let's not backtrack.
Yeah, I
to
agree to that, of course. That's fine.
If you go against that and you have something that like you don't have anything that beats that elemental advantage, wouldn't you be stronger than that someone who doesn't have the advantage of you and you have the advantage?
Well, the arguments that you're applying here would only work if Sasuke only beat Gar or was only superior to Gar because of elemental advantage, which is disproven by the fact that Sasuke was blitzing the fuck out of him. So it's both speed and elemental advantage.
That literally just made no fucking sense. He uses Chidori and Sharingan and fucking hits his ass and beats him because of that and makes Gaara bleed. He literally says that would only work as an argument, blah, blah, when if that did happen, it did fucking happen. And then changes it up, stops talking about that, and then says instead Sasuke would just speed blitz the fuck out of him and yada yada. And Lee speed blitz Gaara too. Like, this guy is either dumb or dumb. Like, I would already be losing patience with this man.
Let me stop you right there. The thing is, Lee did the same thing, and the thing is, Lee is faster than Sasuke in his time.
See? Trey is literally saying exactly what I just said. Like, bro, I didn't even know what he was about to say, and he dead ass is already saying what I'm saying. Lee does the same shit. It's narratively implied. There's little dead ass a narrative implication of Lee being the same as Sasuke. And statements verbatim also supporting it as well. Statements, okay, and feats. And Lee is also faster. And has the feats to prove it and statements to prove it. Like, this Apollo guy is a fucking dumbass.
Taijutsu is better. Another thing, I can even say this. The reason why Sasuke won the Taijutsu battle is because of that mental nerve. You know, when you have a mental nerve, when you're going hand to hand, it's hard for you to think. This is shown with Aldo versus Conor McGregor when McGregor had the mental advantage. because he was talking about killing Aldo's whole clan, and we know Aldo is a passive UFC fighter, but in that fight he wasn't in his right state of mind, and he tried to rush Conor McGregor, which led to him getting knocked out. So again, you can when you have the mental disadvantage, your taijutsu or your hand-to-hand combat in that case would not be at its greatest. But Lee and Sasuke did beat fucking Lee Gara and taijutsu.
But then
like,
that
so
presupposes
both
that
have
Gara's mental and
Can I
never
finish?
did
Can I
hard
finish? Can I
time
finish?
with
Can I finish?
like
Can I finish? Can I
skills.
finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? So yes, they both have the taijutsu advantage over guard, but the reason why they call fucking Sasuke stronger than guard is because of the elemental advantage, which you agreed to. When you have the elemental
The
advantage, you
reason
are
no, I don't
stronger.
agree that that's the only
So
reason.
let
No.
me finish. Let 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 me finish, please.
Yeah, let
So
him finish.
again, yeah, when you have this advantage, and so the thing is, he has this advantage versus guard, but he doesn't have this advantage over Lee. So when you have that advantage over guard, yes, you would be stronger in guard. But if you don't have that advantage over Lee, it would be raw strength that goes against each
The
other.
only
Which
thing
I
you're
feel
Yes,
like
sir.
providing
Yes, sir.
here,
Trey on top.
could
Trey
that
on top.
person
Nobody
shut the
beating Trey.
fuck up, please?
Nobody beating Trey on God.
let me
I don't
finish,
give a
bro.
fuck. Shut
When
up,
you
please.
have these advantages
No.
over
Bro, somebody even hyping Trey up. And Paul's like, I don't give a fuck. Bro, oh, that's fucking funny as shit, to be honest. Hang on one sec, guys. Oh, fuck.
For the
Tips
first,
when
this is
starting
not
this game.
affirming
This
that
game,
the
that's
author.
your ability to like use
Honestly.
elements.
Yeah,
And
elements
you
is strength. Yeah, it's a part of strength.
and you have something that be like a jutsu battle is because of that mental nerve. You know, when you have a mental earth, when you going hand to hand, it's hard for you to think. This is shown with Aldo versus Conor McGregor when McGregor had the mental advantage because he was talking about killing Aldo's whole clan, and we know Aldo is a passive UFC fighter, but in that fight he wasn't in his right state of mind, and he tried to rush Conor McGregor, which led to him getting knocked out. So again, you can when you have the mental disadvantage, your taijutsu or your hand to hand combat in that case would not be at its greatest.
Hang on,
But Lee
Duck.
and
I'll
Sasuke
apply.
did beat fucking
Give me one moment, brother. Trying to do something real quick. There we go. There we go. Now I'm gonna go here. Alright, so to answer your question on what's the debate, let me get this. I'm gonna hide this as well. Don't need that. To answer your question, the debate is Sasuke versus Baby Trey. And Apollo's taking shooting exam Sasuke, and Baby Trey's taking Lee. This was a recommendation. Well, he DM'd me on Discord and wanted me to judge the debate. So I decided to judge the debate. And basically that's kind of what's going on. This video is going to be posted on my YouTube, so I'm not going to recap everything. But when you eventually watch the video, then you'll have kind of the context and the story of this and what's going on, and that's basically where we're at so far. And as of now, from me judging this so far and from what I've been hearing from both sides, Trey is definitely winning the debate.
Lee Gara and taijutsu.
But then
like,
that
so
presupposes that Gara's mental and
Can I
never
finish?
did
Can I
hard
finish? Can I
time
finish?
with
Can I
like
finish? Can I finish? Can I
skills.
finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? So yes, they both have the taijutsu advantage over guard, but the reason why they call fucking Sasuke stronger than guard is because of the elemental advantage, which you agreed to. When you have the elemental
The
advantage, you are
reason I don't
stronger.
agree that that's the only
So,
reason. No.
Let me finish. 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 Let me finish, please.
Yeah, let
So
him finish.
again, when you have
Once
this
again,
advantage,
like that,
and
like
you, so
that's the shit I'm talking about. Like always fucking interrupting, which I don't understand that shit. And like it's annoying because God forbid, baby Trey tries to intervene or interrupt, then it's a fucking problem. He's like no, let me talk, whatever, and just get or they have a fucking titty attack. Like there's certain people like him and other examples where they'll be like, it's okay for me to talk for hours long or shotgun or whatever. Then God forbid when you're going, oh I'm not, then I interject or interrupt you and it's okay. Like it don't work like that, bro. This man can't control himself.
the thing is, he has this advantage versus guard, but he doesn't have this advantage over Lee. So when you have that advantage over guard, yes, you would be stronger in guard. But if you don't have that advantage over Lee, it would be raw strength that goes against each
The
other.
only
Which
thing
I
you're
feel like
providing
Yes, sir. Trey
here,
on top.
could
Trey
that
on top.
person
Nobody
shut the
beating Trey.
fuck up, please?
Nobody beating Trey on God.
Let me
Don't
finish,
give a
bro.
fuck. Shut up,
You
please.
have these advantages over
Now,
guard, which
what I was
no.
gonna say to you, Trey, is that the only thing you're
Let me
explaining
finish, bro.
there.
Hey, one more sentence.
I'm
One
pretty
more
sure
sentence.
you're finished until that person interrupts it.
No, I wasn't finished. I swear to God, I wasn't
Okay,
finished.
go ahead. Give her the other arguments.
So now we know that Gara had these advantages. Sasuke had these advantages that Lee didn't have of a guard, which made Sasuke his
Facts.
strongest opponent. And we know that he wouldn't have these advantages going against fucking Lee. So it would just be a stalemate of who's the better fighter and who's stronger and faster. So again, since he doesn't have these advantages that he had over Gara, a character that they both went hand to hand with. Shit, they were both stalemates because neither one finished their battle. So again,
Okay,
yeah.
Yes,
so I don't think you're
sir.
understanding.
Facts. That makes sense. So basically, what Trey is saying is if you analyze and compare Sasuke and Lee narratively, they perform exactly the same base to base. And that's weightlessly, and Sasuke would weightlessly speed as well. They perform exactly the same, and it's not enough to do anything. Okay? So then from here, okay, basically what happens is what does Lee do? The Lotus. That would be enough to kill Gaara. The reason why he didn't get killed, unfortunately, was because Gaara, since he added a shit ton of sand to his body, which literally enforcing sand armor over his skin just in case if his sand gets bypassed, it makes him extremely heavy. And actually fucks Gaara over because now he has to use more stamina and physical exertion because of how heavy he is. It's literally stated verbatim. So when Lee kicks him with the first gate active and to do the primary Lotus, okay, not only does he speed blitz him, but Gaara doesn't go high enough to where he's not floating all the way up in the air. So Lee has to do an extensive combo, and then it's stated verbatim by Guy Sensei, like, please hurry up and get the move done, because with that many taijutsu kicks, okay, you're going to cause yourself a lot of pain and strain, okay? And it did. Lee got in a moment of pain, which gave Gaara a perfect opportunity to do a sand substitution. And if he didn't do that sand substitution, he would have died by primary Lotus. And it's also stated verbatim by Guy and Lee that he would have killed him with just the first Lotus with the first gate. And then apply, all the other amps with the gates and him doing the second Lotus, which is even more powerful than that. You know what I mean? Like, bro, so you have that, okay? And then if you look at Sasuke, obviously Sasuke isn't Gaara. He doesn't have all that sand to make his body extremely fucking heavy. So if Lee speed blitzes him with the first gate and kicks him in the goddamn chin, he's going to be all the way in the fucking air like what just happened when they fought the first time, okay? And then he's dead. He's not going to have the time to do a substitution or any of that shit, okay? And he's GG. That's it, And then either way, now to go back to the point of what Trey was making, and so that's what Lee had to do. It was the Lotus with the first gate, and then the gates with, the I can't remember the other Lotus. I can't remember the name, but either way, he goes into the third gate to perform the next Lotus, okay, and then fourth gate and then fifth gate. That's what was Lee's only way to be able to kill Gaara. And Lee would have killed Gaara a second time, but the only reason why he wasn't able to kill him is because since he wasn't wrapped up in all the bandages like Lee normally does, so this way you can't protect yourself or whatever, do jutsu, okay? Gaara used the gore on his back of the sand and wrap all that sand from the gore around his body to be able to tank the blow and to increase his durability, which is why he didn't die, okay? He was very fucked up, like he did get damaged very bad, but he didn't die, and then obviously we know what happens right after. And that's what Lee had to do. Then you look at Sasuke. Taijutsu wasn't enough, right? Then it's stated verbatim where guys like, why did Kakashi teach him Taijutsu on the level of weightless Lee when clearly when he saw Lee with fucking gates wasn't even enough? You know what I mean? Like, what is he thinking? What's his plan? And then Kakashi's like, all of you shut up, you'll wet your pants, whatever. There's a reason why I taught him and trained him to get that level of speed, and it was for him to use Chidori, stated verbatim. Then he does Chidori, a ninjutsu-based AP attack, which is able to go through Gaara's fucking sand while he's in a ball of fucking sand, okay, at the highest density, and he goes through that shit, and that's what allows him to hurt and injure Gaara severely. Now remind you, not kill him, but to injure him, which, if we're comparing and contrasting, that's also more impressive for Rock Lee, because deadass, he would have killed him if he landed his techniques, while Sasuke was only able to injure him and make him bleed. Not trying to downplay and shit on Chidori or Sasuke, but if you compare and contrast, Lee is still better in that fact and manner as well, okay? So with all that into consideration, then back to Lee versus Sasuke. Once again, Sasuke isn't Gaara. He doesn't have Gaara's sand durability, etc. Okay? If he gets hit by a Lotus or any of Lee's taijutsu blows in the gates, you name it, he is dead. Done. You know, so it's that fucking simple. So with all the points that Trey is making, all the connections that he's doing, it makes perfect logical sense. It's not rocket science to understand what he's saying. And he's literally saying it point by point. And he got Apollo to admit that techniques and, ninjutsu, etc. can correlate to strength. Meaning, therefore, it's a likely interpretation with him being the strongest opponent was due to Sasuke knowing Chidori and having the Sharingan to incorporate that together. It's not fucking hard. So for one, he got Apollo to agree with that premises, and two is connecting all these dots and points. Therefore, he is shitting on him and winning this overall argument so far. Can Apollo still come back and come up with something else to make Sasuke over? Yes, potentially. Who knows? But as of now, that's what's currently going on. I hope that all made sense for you. And what's up, Ken? Welcome to the stream.
Here, Trey. Oh my god, could that person shut the fuck up? I don't think you're understanding, Trey, but what you're explaining here is that you only explained that Sasuke has more advantages versus Gaara than Lee, which is just, I guess, helping my argument to strengthen it. I'm not finished speaking. It's strengthening my argument in the sense that you're only explaining that Sasuke has more combative advantages overall than Lee, because for one, Sasuke has ninjutsu, Lee does not. Now, the thing is that you're not actually performing or showing any performative contradiction or any refutation towards it being in reference to physical prowess. You're just saying that Gaara was mentally nerfed, he was at some mental disadvantage, which we've already agreed to, therefore it does not count. The argument is not that, right? I agree that's heading towards the fight, right? I'm not finished speaking. I agree that's heading towards the fight or into the fight. Gaara had some mental disadvantage, he was mentally nerfed, and that's implied or shown explicitly by him holding his head, having a headache, and so on. However, I've already negated that by saying that after that instance, it was stated that his mind is settled down and then he was ready for combat. And then Gaara said, come, meaning that he was now ready for combat. He now had the mental ability to engage in combat. So that mental nerve will disappear at least temporarily for the sake of the combat versus Sasuke. With that being established, right, your argument presupposes that the entire time, through the entire fight, Gaara was mentally nerfed, which is unproven. And the other thing is that, again, I've already explained to you from scratch as to why.
So let's stop that there, and we're going to give credit when it's due. So Apollo has a very good point, and that does make sense. Now, obviously, this is a little bit ignorant on my part. I could be wrong on this, but from my memory, okay, and unless I was to rewatch the anime fight and read the manga as well and compare that and contrast that together and finally have a conclusion in my own premises and understanding of what they're referring to, at least referring to my memory, Apollo is right on that point. Gaara was not mentally nerfed the entire fight. That is not true. And I do crystal clear remember perfectly that there was moments where Gaara was able to get back like his mental capacity and then, be ready to fight. And yes, I literally remember him saying something like that, like, come, whatever, or I'm ready. And then it went on. So I definitely agree with Apollo on that point. It's literally shown in everything, which is why he's refuting against that, etc. And to where while Trey was trying to establish that Gaara was mentally nerfed the whole time in that fight, which is why Sasuke was performing the way he did, while the Gaara that fought Lee wasn't mentally nerfed, meaning that was just making it a more impressive scaling or feats for Lee as well. And that's not true. Not narratively or even shown. And this, which is why he was attacking that and refuting, etc. So Apollo definitely does have that point. But regardless of him winning that point, as of what was going back to the main point, which is probably the most important point to win in this debate period, is of whether or not Sasuke is the strongest opponent, okay, or Gaara is like facing his strongest opponent, which aka Sasuke, for that statement that everyone likes to use, okay, of whether that interprets and means that Sasuke is also Gates' level of power and speed. Okay, that's what everyone's interpretation is immediate for Sasuke in order to just get him on Lee's level and surpass, and then give him the Sharingan and Chidori. It's like, yeah, what the fuck do you do? If he was Gates' level of power, and then you give the guy a Chidori and Sharingan, yeah, Lee's fucked. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? And that's why everyone's always tries to go with that argument and interpretation. That's always their goal. But obviously Trey has already disproven that many times in many ways and gotten Apollo to agree with his argument. So overall, like, Apollo's losing that point, and that's the most important point in this debate, because if he can prove and debunk that what he's implying for that statement as an interpretation, okay, and it, otherwise that's only correct due to Sasuke having Chidori in the Sharingan, okay, that would debunk the whole concept of Sasuke being over Lee, because once again, Sasuke isn't Gaara, okay, and it's Lee versus Sasuke, okay, not Lee versus Gaara. Therefore, okay, yeah, he has Chidori, yeah, he has a Sharingan, but if Lee is way more faster and stronger, okay, what is Sasuke's Chidori going to do, and what is his Sharingan perception going to do? Nothing. And that is literally the entire premises that Trey has been building this entire time. So since Trey is still has won that crucial point, Apollo is still losing the debate. But either way, like I said, going back to Apollo, he definitely is correct on that point alone. And I'm curious to see what Trey is going to say.
Author's talking about strength. Strength in itself has nothing to do with advantages or disadvantages. I'll give you an example. So, if it's the same example as the example I used yesterday versus you, right? So it's like, if I were to fight, let's say there's someone who always spectates my fights and give their opinions on the persons whom I fight, right? And I fight my brother, and when I fight my brother, I actually beat my brother in some technicality.
Huh? Hang on, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Let's get it.
Right? And then I fight someone like Mike Tyson. But heading towards a fight between me and Mike Tyson, I had a belly ache and I had like a headache, right? I was like feeling bad. I was not on my full percentage of power, like strength, right? Just because I lost to Mike Tyson, I'm not finished speaking. Just because I lost to Mike Tyson, and the person, who's that person in the background? I'm not talking to you.
Who is that?
Person
Don't stop right now.
Shut up.
Don't stop right now.
Who? Trey, just tell me the person.
I'm not even paying attention to the physique. I'm just like,
No, he's not paying attention.
Hey, what's up, Duck? My favorite map? I would definitely say the Rebirth maps or the Resurgent maps. Those are definitely my favorite. By far, what's it called? I'm not a fan at all of that big-ass, stupid, Battle Royale map. I hate it. The other one before, I really enjoyed that one. But that's my thoughts on that.
Attention for.
Bro, intellectual, shut up, bro. As I was gonna say to you. So just because I lost to Mike Tyson while having these disadvantages does not mean that the reason behind me losing is especially because of these disadvantages. Now, if this person who usually gives their judgments on my fights say to me that based on all the opponents I see you face, I think Mike Tyson is the strongest opponent. They're not saying that they think he's the strongest opponent because I had a tummy ache. I'm not finished. They're not saying this because he had a tummy ache or because he was like, or I had a tummy ache and I had a headache or something, heading towards the fight between me and Mike Tyson. They're basing their claim off a set of observations between
Apollo,
all the opponents I fight, and they're comparing all these opponents' strengths and saying that.
Kool-Aid.
Oh wait, hold up.
Shut up. Who is that? Shut up. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. You're ruining the debate. Oh my gosh.
If it's Kai doing that, I can like time me out. So
That is not me, bro.
Okay, so Paul, we're still grasping onto my
myself
argument,
out.
still tracking my argument, and Trey are still tracking my argument. So I'm basically saying to you that if the person who gives their judgments on the strength of the opponents I faced say that Mike Tyson is the strongest opponent I faced, regardless of whether I had some disadvantages heading towards a fight, he's basing his claim on a set of observations of Mike Tyson.
Amen to that, Ken. Yes, he does. Sasuke verbatim stated needed Rock Lee's weightless speed to perform Chidori. Amen.
Tyson's strength in comparison to other characters' strength, and he's saying that Mike Tyson is the best or is better than every other person whom will fight in the strength category. I've already explained to you that strength has nothing to do with advantages or disadvantages from a mental perspective and all that bullshit. It is simply
So basically, from what Apollo's saying, his analogy doesn't work. It doesn't help him because, for one, once again, I'm not going to repeat it word for word, but Trey already got Apollo to agree. You know what I mean? With Sasuke having Chidori, the Sharingan, you name it, and the elemental, advantage, etc., and being able to perform something that Lee can't do because Lee can't do ninjutsu, which is why it could equate for him being Gaara's strongest opponent, etc. Okay, and literally Apollo agreed with that. And then Trey connected the dots and further explained his argument to where basically, with that being the case, then therefore that would debunk the idea of Sasuke being over Lee, and he's only over Gaara due to X, Y, and Z, while Lee and Sasuke perform exactly the same with taijutsu feats alone, with the same speed, you name it, narrative implication, etc., okay, are both capable of killing. Lee was the only one technically capable of killing Gaara with taijutsu, while Sasuke had to resort to using Chidori and the Sharingan, okay, therefore showing that if Sasuke and Lee were to fight, okay, that type of argument wouldn't apply, if that makes sense. Therefore, meaning, okay, that if Lee and Sasuke were to fight, Lee would just shit on him because he's way more faster and more powerful. Sasuke, even if he's able to perceive, if he can't react, he's fucked, okay? And Chidori is going to be useless because he's not going to be able to use it on Lee because Lee is just drastically more faster and stronger, okay? And not only that, Sasuke also does not have Gaara's sand or his sand armor to help him be able to tank Lee's attacks. So guess what? He doesn't have the durability for it. He's not faster. He's slower. You name it. Sharingan doesn't help. Chidori doesn't help. Therefore, he loses. Like, Apollo's just not, like, I don't know what the fuck is not clicking in his brain right now. Like, you literally just agreed with him, and he established all his points and connected the dots, and now you're going on about a fucking analogy about fucking fighters, okay, which doesn't help you either way because they can't perform fucking ninjutsu and shit, okay, and so on and so forth. They can literally just only fight each other hand to hand, So he's going off on this whole other fucking tangent and performing an analogy that doesn't even support his argument, or better yet, to help refute and debunk what Trey is saying. Like, this is stupid.
any ability which is enacted in combat, and because physical prowess is strength, as well as elemental advantages or abilities as explained to you by the definition of strength, then most likely this would be in reference to strength, regardless of whatever is being stated.
Kool-Aid man.
Shit. The fact that they're actually trolling Apollo.
Finishing my
right
argument,
now.
by the way, but first I'm gonna need to time out this fucking read.
This is just a snooze fest.
Sure, you can respond. By the way, Popo, were you listening to my argument?
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the easiest way to get past this is essentially just to sort out your key difference, which is what you guys think power and strength is, right? Because Trey is speaking from difficulty, right? This power, the only reason why he's saying this power is because he was his most difficult opponent in that type of aspect because he was nerfed or whatever. And you're saying, well, no, it's just talking about who had the strongest punches or who was the fastest or whatever, right? It's just that key difference that is the only reason, or one of the main reasons.
Okay, so I understand that's the argument he's making, but at the same time, consider the universal, the more general definition of strength.
You read Bleach or One Piece? So I've never read them. I've actually never seen One Piece. I know, crazy as it sounds. Bro, I saw how many goddamn episodes there were, bro. Yeah, no, I ain't watching that many fucking episodes. I might read, like, maybe the manga, and whatnot, and maybe in time, like, when I have way more free time and I'm not so fucking busy working 2 jobs, to where I'm working my full-time job and doing this as a job as well for content creation, then yeah, I'll give it a shot and check out all the goddamn episodes. But no, I have not read them. I have seen Bleach, though. I've watched all the anime, and that was really, really good, and I really, really enjoyed Bleach. My favorite fight was Vaster Lord versus one of the Spada, Yukura. I don't know how to fuck you say his name. He had like 2 transformations, which made him very unique and insanely powerful. So, but yeah. Should watch Bo. Never heard of it. But I'll put it in the list.
which does not actually cover this particular definition, which seems to be proprietary. I'll say my definition or my interpretation is more likely because the author never specified anything of the sort. And I've also demonstrated some
Let me say this.
skepticism against the disadvantage point, so yeah.
Let me say this, Apollo. So again, Popo, you remember when Apollo said if you have the elemental advantage, you're stronger than your opponent? You remember that? He already agreed that this person, Sasuke, had.
He definitely agreed. See? Definitely agreed. Even the judge is saying he agreed. That's not good, Apollo. You're losing the most important point.
Advantage going into this fight, which made Sasuke, and he didn't have this elemental advantage coming into the fight, nor did Yara had the mental disadvantage coming into the fight. So this will make, yes, that will goes and help my argument. This is his most difficult opponent because he had 2 disadvantages. If you want to take out the fucking mental disadvantage, I don't even give a fuck if you take that out. He still has the elemental disadvantages, which plays a huge role for Naruto.
Okay, so now that you dropped the mental disadvantage point, let's just look at the elemental disadvantage.
I didn't drop that.
He clearly didn't fucking hear him. He's like, even if I were to dismiss that point or drop that point, it still doesn't matter. Once again, like I even already said as well, the most important point is understanding the concept of what his interpretation means of that statement of Gaara's strongest opponent, okay, with Sasuke, due to him having Chidori and the Sharingan and, you know, the elemental disadvantage, etc. Having ninjutsu, something that Lee clearly doesn't have. So, once again, like, he's not even fucking listening. He's like, okay, so now that you gave up or dropped that point or conceded whatever, you know, and like, no, that's not what he fucking said. like this man, like, open your fucking ears.
I didn't drop that. I'm just saying, even if you do say
you don't care to argue about it, so we're just gonna move on from this point and just focus on the elemental disadvantage, considering what he just said. Yeah, you just said you don't care about the mental disadvantages, just focus on the elemental disadvantage.
I said, even if, let me rephrase that. Let's say I lose the mental disadvantage point. That shit doesn't even mean shit because he still has the elemental disadvantage, which you agree to that if you have the elemental advantage, you are stronger than your opponent, not because of raw strength, but because of the elemental advantage. You agree to that?
Okay, so in the scan itself...
you can quote me if I'm wrong. Did he not agree to that?
I don't know why Trey keeps asking the judge that he agreed to that. He already said that yes, he did. And like we established this so many times, so I don't know why he keeps repeating that, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that elemental disadvantage or elemental abilities is a part of strength, right? But that's not the point. Now, again, your argument is basically, again, initially it was presupposing that Gaara was mentally nerfed with the entirety of the fight between him and Lee. Sorry, him and Sasuke, sorry.
Follow my
wait, could you please not interrupt me, please? Could you please not interrupt?
The crash. Give me 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say to you that your argument was kind of like making this presupposition that Gaara was mentally nerfed throughout the entire fight between him and Sasuke.
Bro, no one cares. Why is that point being brought up again? It's already been discussed. It's over with. And he literally just gave his fucking wording on it. Even if I were to give you that or drop it, or even if I lost that point, okay, which in my opinion, he did lose that point, by the way, okay, who the fuck cares? Why are you bringing it up again? Stick on the main fucking point. Why are you going back to that?
Okay, the scanning poster was pretty decent, but again, I've already told you that it's legitimized by the fact that he said that it is calm down, and Gaara said calm, which implies that he's now ready for combat. He now has the mental ability to engage in combat. Now, with that being said, even if we were to argue that at the end of the fight we see him being possessed by Chicago, that just means
Bro, I swear to God, if this man does not hurry up. Like, this man has, what, it's an hour and 20 seconds? Like, bro, like, this man has 16 minutes. 16 minutes and 20 seconds to fucking come back and win this debate. Because if he just keeps saying stupid ass shit, he's lost this debate.
He became mentally unstable again at the end of the fight does not mean that through the entirety of the fight he was at a mental disadvantage. Now, if you pay a close look at the scan to corroborate that it's not only in reference to elements of advantage or disadvantage, they say that when Gaara found himself at a disadvantage, so they refer to the fight itself, and they're saying that when Gaara found himself at a mental disadvantage, he used the absolute defense attack. Let me just look at it real quick.
What? Chat, did you just understand a goddamn thing he just said? Like, what is he on about now? Like, I'm gonna rewind it. What?
I said even if let me rephrase.
Which is basically, again, initially it was presupposing that Gar was mentally nerfed through the entirety of the fight between him and Lee. Sorry, him and Sasuke.
Hey,
Sorry.
Apollo, my Discord
Wait,
about to
could
crash.
you please not interrupt me, please? Could you please not
No,
interrupt?
the crash. Give me 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say to you that, Yarmi was kind of like making this presupposition that Gar was mentally nerfed through the entire fight between him and Sasuke. The Scania poster was pretty decent, but again, I've already told you that it's legitimized by the fact that he said that it is calm down, and Gar said calm, which implies that he's now ready for combat. He now has the mental ability to engage in combat. Now, with that being said, even if we were to argue that at the end of the fight we see him being possessed by Chicago, that just means he became mentally unstable again at the end of the fight. Does not mean that through the entirety of the fight he was at a mental disadvantage. Now, if you pay a close look at the scan to corroborate that it's not only in reference to elemental advantage or disadvantage, they say that when Gar found himself at a disadvantage, so they're referring to the fight itself, and they're saying that when Gar found himself at a mental disadvantage, he used the absolute defense attack. Let me just look at it real quick.
This motherfucker just went in a whole circle and said all this shit, and I still don't understand what the fuck he's trying to say. I literally just rewinded it, and I'm still
Okay,
dead ass is
let's
lost.
see.
Like, the only thing I heard crystal clear towards the end is Gar being willing to go into his absolute ultimate defense, like his little big ass ball of sand. And? Like, the fuck?
This shit is so ass.
So they said what Gar, who had found himself at a disadvantage, so long as he found himself at some disadvantage in the fight, he wished for full body possession, right? And we see that there are several times in which Gar found himself at a disadvantage, regardless of whether Sasuke was even using the Chidori. Like, for example, when Sasuke was beating him up, and we see he beat him up so bad as to the point where Gar was huffing and puffing. He was breathing hard, which implies some internal damage, as well as the fact that he was forced to use the absolute defense ability. So outside of Sasuke using the Chidori, he was still at some level of disadvantage because he was getting beaten up, and he was not provoking Sasuke in any means whatsoever. So because of this, to correlate this with the statement itself, it would be more likely that it is not only in reference to any elemental advantage or disadvantage, but it is in reference to Sasuke's overall prowess, which I've already corroborated. I'm finished, by the way. By the way, did you guys hear what I just said? Like, Popo and Trey, you guys are my arguments?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Doug. Yeah. So, no, I get the point that he's saying, that basically, since Gar went into the ball of sand, that, he felt he was at a disadvantage, due to, like, the taijutsu and everything, yada yada, so meaning, therefore, would prove that Sasuke's even taijutsu was superior than Lee, based in like performance and etc. Even though literally that is literally contradicted, and Lee does the same exact narrative implication. It literally dead ass emphasizes the same narrative implication of taijutsu hand to hand while they're in base for weightless speed. And then literally like Lee is literally bullying Gar and beating his ass as well. So even though that doesn't help him, and so on and so forth, like dead ass Gara literally like when Lee was beating his ass and literally was stated verbatim that he pushed him into a corner and now Gar is kind of fucked and like doesn't really know what to do, then Lee's like, all right, what's it called? Now I'm going to use Lotus to kill him, and that'll basically bypass his sand armor, and the sand won't be able to protect him either. You know what I mean? And then it goes from there, and that's when he speed blitzes and gets him. And one easy way you can argue against that point, while to where Gar went into his big ball of sand and transformed into Shikaku, while with Lee he didn't. One thing you got to put into consideration, for one, Gar is participating in the tuning exams and basically playing an act. Like, he's not just going to straight up transform into a goddamn Shikaku. Like, fucking, if he were to transform into Shikaku, it'd be the same exact emphasis of, like, Sasuke using the curse mark, using a power that's prohibited and not allowed, and they would literally cancel the fight and stop it immediately. So that's one easy way you could easily argue against that point, where Gar would not be allowed to even use that type of a power, okay? And then two, okay, he's also following the rules and his instructions from his joining leader and comrades, that the plan is to go into that transformation and use that technique during the tuning exams, during the final end of the tuning exams. You know what I mean? So to try to use that as like a comparison against Lee, to where, you know what I mean, like that's more impressive and blah blah, therefore showing Sasuke great or whatever, that doesn't actually do anything or help him because Gaara wasn't allowed to use that technique either way. And if he did, he would have got disqualified. Like the Hokages would have got involved, you name it. You know what I mean? So that's one easy way to easily tackle that argument and just make that shit go out the fucking window. But either way, that's kind of me giving my opinion and how, you know, to kind of respond, etc. Let's see how Trey responds to that.
I think Trey was already telling you that. Yeah, Trey left. Like,
He left. I wonder why.
Yeah, he left. Bro, see, that's the shit I'm talking about. Him with his fucking ego and shit. Yeah, he fucking left because he dead ass told you, hey, give me 5 seconds, hold up, something's going on, I just wait. Then he leaves, and then Apollo still fucking talks and presents his argument while the motherfucker's gone. Like, and then he's like, oh, he left? Like, no shit, he fucking left. He's like, oh, I wonder why he left. Like, implying like he's fucking slamming him in this debate or something. Like, Jesus Christ, this motherfucker is retarded. Holy shit.
Oh, he
Nah,
said his
you guys
Discord
cannot debate, bro. You guys can't debate.
Bro,
I'm a better debater than you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nah, you can't debate, bro. Only
This guy's
person in here
rocks.
I'm debating is D1, bro.
D1 isn't even as good as me. What?
Yeah, I'm better than D1. You already know that.
No, you're not. You're just a random. You're
Yeah, so for my name, it's up to you, man. You can call me Batman, Batman VI, or 6 Batman 6. It's totally fucking up to you, bro. Just don't call me fucking Vitamin, man. I don't know where the fuck that comes from. Like, I get why people were saying that shit, kind of like to troll and make fun of the name and etc. Because, you know, look at Vi, you know what I mean? And then so Vitamin Man, you know what I mean? Vita, just remove the B, Vitamin, you know, whatever. Like, it kind of sounds like, you know, so. But yeah, no, yeah, Batman 6 Batman 6 or VI Batman VI, whatever you want to say. Doesn't matter, bro. It's up to you.
ass.
Or you can call me 666. Think about it. There's 6 letters in Batman. VI is 6. The other VI in the end is 6. So 666. You know? Some devil type shit.
Then why do I have more O than you?
You have
This
more
shit
what?
suck. That debate suck. This debate ass.
You think the debate is
Nah,
ass
nah,
because
you,
there's no
nah,
Spurgeon?
nah, Kenjiku, you have to prove why you
Yeah,
want
it needs Spurgeon, bro. Man, where the Spurgeon with a yellow.
You're a
in the middle.
troll. And just because I'm saying I'm better than D1 does not mean I think D1's a bad debater. But I know for a fact this nigga's capping when he says I'm better than D1.
D1 the best debater of all time, bro.
D1 would not slam me on the
Bro,
Naruto
I'm
anymore,
slamming
bro.
my balls into your face, bro. The best debater.
W, for real.
That's when you know it's
No,
bad.
bro, you're
When
like a
other
trustee.
fucking people... When literally other fucking people are deadass roasting his shit and saying like he's trash, blah blah, whatever, yada yada. Like, and then saying he can't beat D1 the whole 9 yards and he's on his level, which I absolutely agree. From what I've seen from D1 so far, tremendously a better debater than this fucking idiot. Tremendously.
Victim, bro.
Like, Apollo's not a bad debater. Don't get me twisted. He's a good debater. But he's stupid when it comes to certain aspects of things. And then when it comes to understanding certain premises, it's like it goes throughout one ear out the fucking other, okay? And he's just dumb. And then it's because of his ego, this man acts like he's fucking God, and anything that comes out of his goddamn mouth is 100% competent, and anyone else's fucking mouth is incompetent. That's not how that works, you know?
Wait, do you guys like just debate all day or like what?
No.
Do you guys even go outside? Like, what do you guys do, bro?
God damn!
I should ask you that question. You sound like a smelly ass fuck.
This man said, do you guys even go outside? Or you just stay inside debating all day, bro?
Fucking nigger behind the fucking PC monitor.
Nah, that's crazy.
Whoa. This man just said the N-word. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, deadass, if he ain't black, like, deadass, he needs his ass beat. Like, I can't stand that shit. That's not a problem, Doug.
He said PC monitored.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Bro, you can't even spell because in
Yeah,
your
I can hear
fucking
you.
status, dumbass.
Chill out. Alright, let's finish this shit. Like, I'm trying to end this shit once and for all.
I can't spell what?
This nigga Apollo stay debating, bro.
Nigga, stay sucking your dad's cocky, fucking
Hold on.
loser.
Bruh. Y'all quiet, alright? Let me finish.
Bro, do you have any other alias other than being an Apollo the Crider?
I also
Naruto
fuck
and
your
all of his
mom.
ass. Don't care.
Also, let's finish.
So
This nigga Popo already want to go to sleep. Let's just get.
Hell no, Ken. No. I might debate Weeb, like, just, randomly throughout, or maybe, like, one more time, depending on how that goes. But no, I'm not debating Noodles again, bro. That motherfucker is brain dead. Like, that shit is dead ass on God. Like, a waste of fucking. Like, dead ass. I literally. The energy starts coming out of my fucking body if I have to debate Noodles. Like, I just can't do it. I don't have the patience with him, bro. I just don't. Anybody else, whatever, I can be patient, you name it, unless they start acting up and being stupid, and then I'll reciprocate that same negative energy or disrespectful energy. But, like, with Noodles, I can't. I can't fucking do it. Deadass, I just can't.
Get this shit over with.
Like, he is by far probably the most ignorant, the most immature, and childish debater I've ever known and seen in my life. Like, I can't stand him. Like, he's just dumb. You can literally tell him 2 + 2 = 4, and he knows that's what that equals to, and he'll still debate it. You know?
Stop entertaining these niggas.
okay, sure. So did you hear my argument, Troy?
Nah, hell no, my Discord crashed based off the content.
Okay.
Without saying
I
from
was just
fucking
saying. I was just saying that. Yeah, I was just saying that. Sasuke. It was very clear that the statement is not only nerf his elemental advantage or disadvantage, considering that Sasuke was literally putting Gar at a disadvantage without the usage or utility of any
Lee did the
elemental
same
abilities.
thing.
So it's not only confined to elemental perspective.
Yeah, let me say that. So again, Lee did the same thing with Taijutsu. My whole point. Would you like for me to prove that? Nah, you scaling.
That's
But
not
right
relevant. That's not
Yeah,
relevant.
right
The
now I'm
statement
saying
itself
with,
is saying.
with
Bro, he said that's not relevant? What? How is that not relevant? You're literally trying to dismiss his point with the whole thing with Shidori Sharingan, you name it. Something that clearly Lee doesn't have access to, etc. And then you also say in order to debunk that and make that not true because you agreed to it like a dumb bitch, then say that Sasuke is beating Gaara's ass and making him huff and puff, whatever, yada yada. Okay, and performing very good with just taijutsu alone, meaning that it doesn't only pertain to Shidori and Sharingan. So then literally Trey's refutation to that, to debunk that argument, was Lee did the same thing, so on and so forth, talks about it a little bit more, and then he's like, you know what? And he's like, you want me to prove that? And then he says that's not relevant? What? Like, chat, am I tripping? Like, no fucking way.
that.
Gaara. Wait, the statement itself. Wait, could I say one more thing? The statement itself is just saying that Gaara, who had found himself at a disadvantage in his fight versus Sasuke, wished for full body possession. We know that he had found himself at a disadvantage even outside of Sasuke using any fucking, I guess, even outside of Sasuke using any fucking elemental ability. So it's not only confined to elemental ability. And again, the statement is just saying Sasuke is the strongest opponent. Context is not required there because it's a vague sentence. Analytically, it just entails my character being stronger. It's very simple.
Yeah. You finished, bro? This shit is so circular. I'm gonna say this one thing. If you have a rebuttal that I have wants to rebuttal, and I argue against that. So what I'm saying is, in this context, Lee and Sasuke was beating Gaara with their hands. What gave Sasuke the edge over Gaara is that he's not gonna have this edge over Lee. But what Sasuke had that Lee didn't have was this elemental advantage, which he used to make Gaara bleed. Which went like we already know that this is the case. He used that elemental advantage because when he punched the absolute defense, that nigga damn near broke his hand. Like Sasuke arm was bleeding and all. So he's not physically stronger. He abuses this elemental advantage that he has against fucking Gaara when he used the Chidori to get through the sand defense because we know that lightning is above earth. We already went over this shit. Let's not go over this shit again. But when it comes to taijutsu, yes, they both was beating the fuck out of Gaara. But the thing is, while Gaara was Gaara's not even a taijutsu nigga, throw that out the window. But the thing is, what Sasuke had over fucking Gaara was the mental advantage. And
Are you done?
the fucking what's that shit called again? I said this shit elemental advantage. Yeah. So again, the argument you just made.
Wait, how does Sasuke abuse elemental ability? He only used it against Gar like once in that fight.
Yeah, and he used it when he couldn't get through the sand defense. When he couldn't get through the absolute defense, he used that elemental advantage to go through
Yeah,
and
that's
pierce
one
Garo's
time.
skin.
That's not an abuse
He
of the
still he
ability.
still abused it. He still
What do you
when
define
he
as abuse? I think, colloquially speaking, when someone says you're abusing the fuck out of something, that they're implying that you're
that's
spamming
not
the
what I
fuck
mean
out of
by
it.
abuse. Don't start writing, bro. That's not what I meant by abuse. When he seen that his
Bro, he's
skin
over here trying to twist his words and rat. I agree with Trey on that one.
get
Not
through
even
the
right. That's what people generally mean when they use the word, unless you want to
I'm-
clarify.
That's actually
like-
not true. That's actually not true. There's many implications when you say that when he had abused that technique. Okay,
taking
so that's
turns
absolutely not true.
again. Let's not start doing this shit, bro. Like what I mean by abuse, and my fault that it didn't fit your description of what abuse means. What I meant by abuse is he seen that in this case he couldn't get through the defense using his raw strength, so he knew he had this one ability that
Deadass Ken, Lee gave Gar a PTSD. Bruh, that could be another argument for Lee, even though like it's a narrative implication argument that I use and whenever I'm having to debate someone that's picking Sasuke. But like deadass, you could make up another argument and kind of rat and be like, yo, Lee gave Gar a PTSD. He beat his ass so bad, and when Sasuke started beating his ass with Taijutsu, like he was literally seeing Lee and thinking of Lee. Bruh, on God. That man gave him PTSD, on God.
he knew would get through this defense, and he used that ability. That's what I meant by abuse.
Okay. Continue with your arguments.
Yes, and so that's really it. Like
Okay, so I don't think it's actually responding to anything that it presented on the chart. It's pretty simple. So
Bro, that doesn't respond to what you just fucking said? Yo, like, there is no conceivable way that people really think this guy's a fucking good debater. Like, there's just no way. Like, they either have to be dick writing friends, or they're all fucking garbage. Like, holy shit. Like, guys, like, I'm a very fucking humble person. Like, not even for myself, I think I'm fucking god tier debater or anything like that. I have good knowledge when it comes to Naruto, and I can debate decently. But not even me. And I'd be the first one to tell you if someone's pretty fucking good at debating. D1 is pretty good at debating. Six is also a good debater. Noodles is a good rat debater. So on and so forth, etc. I can go on and on. Seth the programmer, he's an incredible fucking debater. Like, I'd be the first one to say if somebody's good. If I'm saying you ain't, you fucking ain't. At least from what I've seen so far, or what I've at least heard. Doesn't mean no matter what or in general. Obviously, anyone could always improve, or maybe that's just me seeing their worst performance, or whatever. Or, or better yet, since they're going against me, and obviously I'm a pretty good debater, whatever, obviously it's kind of, showing a little bit of their trash side of them, and when it comes to debating. You know what I mean? But, like, either way, like, holy fuck. This man's ass. Like, fucking ass.
like, yes, we both agree that Sasuke and Lee both beat the fuck out of Gar, right? I'm simply saying.
Okay, he literally just... Bro, this man just conceded twice. He literally just admitted that Lee performed the same exact way and beat the shit out of Gara. So guess what? Your point's irrelevant, bro! And you can't use that to support against Sasuke being Gara's strongest opponent. Like, what? Like, the moment those words came out of his mouth, I would immediately stop letting him talk. I would immediately just cut him off as Trey. And be alright, this debate's done, this debate's done, this debate's done, and that's all I need to hear, that's all I needed, that's the only point I need, you just, whatever, and that's it, it's done. Like, this man is fucking stupid.
Itself are the same thing. The dad book did not specify anything about it's only being in reference to elemental advantage. And it's
Doesn't have to specify. If there's context to support it, and that is clearly the most logical and most reasonable interpretation to infer of what it's pertaining to, okay, that's all you need. And Trey clearly demonstrated those forms of evidence and connected the dots. So once again, irrelevant.
referencing the fact that what Gar was at some
God.
advantage, he was wishing some full body possession, and he was at a disadvantage when Sasuke was only using Taijutsu instead of Chidori. Then it would not only be in reference to his Chidori ability, because Gar was also.
Hey, Doug, we will definitely debate. I'm not forgetting you or anything like that. I got a little bit sidetracked with some other personal things I had to do. But I'll definitely be down to debate Neji versus Sasuke. We can still run that topic. I just need to do some homework on my end because I don't remember a whole lot about Neji. So I need to kind of go over the data book info, look at some scans, narrative stuff, you name it. And no matter what, I don't care who you are, whether if you're low tier, high tier, whatever, I'm coming out with 100% effort. Like, so that'll give you as well a little bit more time to prepare for Sasuke. So we'll definitely debate, but don't say that, man. Have some confidence. You never know. You never know, bro. You never know. All because I'm a good debater doesn't mean you can't beat me. On God, I'm not that type of guy. I don't act like I have this god tier ego. Or I'm invincible. I'm the best debater or the fucking whole 9 yards. No, that's not the case. Everybody loses. Everybody loses. So I'm not prideful like that. I'm not arrogant like that, and I don't fucking display that ego nonsense. So don't downplay yourself, man. Everybody's capable of being great. Everybody's capable of improving or even winning. That's all you need to know.
Also, the disadvantage
There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, at least it's a text debate, so that'll help too. This way, you're not having to do like a voice chat, you know, because that's even more nerve wracking.
external to this Chidori or lightning style affinity. So it would imply that it's not only in reference to this. And another thing I need to put out again, I think I've read this like several times.
And better yet, when we do the text debate, I'll have Ken and Loke judge, 2 separate judges, and on God, they know how I am. I don't play around with bullshit either. You know, if I lost, I lost. And they will say if I lost. You know what I mean? Like, it's that simple. So I'll even get those 2 to judge, and based on the text debate and scans, you name it, and what we're typing and the scans we're posting, and we'll do that. So we'll have 2 judges. We'll have Ken and Loke. If you don't feel comfortable with that and you want to maybe get someone else that you may know and have them as a judge, or I can either use Ken or Loke, that's fine too. I have no issues being a team player and applying equity. But what I'm trying to say is there'll be judges and they'll look over it, and if I lose, I lose. If you win, you win. Vice versa. So don't worry about it, man. But I'm going to give you more time to prep, and then we can definitely do a text debate tomorrow night for sure.
The author is just saying that Sasuke is his strongest opponent, right? You're
God.
saying that, okay, your interpretation is simply that, he's just the strongest opponent, or he's Gar's most difficult opponent because, I guess, he has elemental advantage, which we've just demonstrated to be false, because the elemental advantage is not the only thing he had over Gar. He also had taijutsu and speed advantage.
Deadass, this motherfucker has 7 minutes, bro. 7 minutes and 20 seconds to figure something out. Not only did he concede twice and agreed to both of his main points to establish Lee being over Sasuke, you name it, yada yada, and debunking that statement with, strongest opponent, etc. Like, this motherfucker is dumb as rocks. Like, there's clearly something not clicking in his goddamn brain.
Advantage over Gar, so we're not only being referencing this. Because these 2 things are a part of strength, and they are in fact strength in itself, then we can definitively say that most likely the author just making reference or making a general statement with no exception whatsoever. Right? It's very simple.
You done?
Yes, I'm finished.
So again, I'm gonna just say this shit right here. So what you trying to argue? Let me get this straight. You're trying to argue that Sasuke is stronger than fucking Gar with his raw strength, correct?
Sasuke is stronger than Gar? Yeah, he is, obviously.
Thank you. If he was stronger than fucking Gar, why didn't he just punch through that absolute defense with his raw strength? Why did he have to use that elemental advantage if he was just stronger?
Wait, we're comparing Sasuke and Gar in physical strength. Why are you comparing Sasuke's physical strength with Gar's absolute defense?
I asked you
You're comparing Sasuke's physical strength with Gar's ninjutsu. That's not the same thing.
When you have more physical strength than
You
someone,
asked me, who do you think is
can I
stronger?
say this? Can I say this? Come on, let me talk, man. We were doing so good when we was letting each other.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Appreciate that. So
You just paused for a second, so I thought you were finished, but go ahead.
yeah, are you saying that like without jutsu, Sasuke can't punch through his jutsu?
No. Okay, so
what are you
Trey,
saying?
you just asked me a while ago that Paul, do you agree that Sasuke is physically stronger than Gar? And then I said yes, and your response was, okay, so then why didn't Sasuke punch through Gar's absolute defense? That's not the question. The thing is, listen. What we're doing here is drawing a comparison between Sasuke's physical strength and Gar's physical strength. Even if Sasuke is unable to punch through Gar's absolute defense, his absolute defense is not his physical strength, so this would not imply an inferiority in the physical strength aspect between Sasuke and Gaara, because that's a false comparison.
Cool. Can I say this? Are you aware that what makes up your physical strength is chakra, and what makes up your jutsu is chakra? Are you aware of that?
But we clearly see that ninjutsu and taijutsu are different categories, which gives us a
Again,
belief or a
again,
good reason
again, people.
to put
Oh
some
my
distinctive
god.
line between these two things.
Oh my god. Again, but both of these things, taijutsu and ninjutsu, uses what?
Chakra, they use chakra. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Oh, this is shown multiple times when people are like when the taijutsu
Yeah, I
uses.
agree. What are you trying to prove here? Are you
Can I
trying to prove
finish?
that they follow they're the
Can I
same
finish?
thing, or if
Can I
someone's
finish?
ninjutsu?
Can I finish?
Go
Can I
ahead.
finish? Here you go. Thank you, bro. So again, if they both follow the fuck under the same category, it's whoever has the most chakra who wins the fight. Who has the
No, not
strongest chakra wins the
necessarily,
fight.
because by that
Give me a
logic,
chance. Wait,
Naruto
wait.
beat Kakashi, but Naruto has, but he did not.
Actually, Kakashi admitted that Naruto could kill him when he's amplified by the tail beast. That's when he has more chakra.
That's in Shippuden. I'm talking about part one.
Part one is the same thing stated in part one.
No, in part one, it say that Naruto. It's literally showing that Kakashi beat the fuck out of Naruto and Troy and so on.
Did Naruto have the tail beast amp or not?
He doesn't need a tail beast.
Again, Naruto only has more chakra when he has the tail beast amp.
Amen to that, Duck. But at least to sick nerf Kimamaru, though. Obviously not Prawn. But yes, I agree. I definitely agree.
Are you aware of that, or do you want me to prove that?
Yeah.
Are you aware of that, or do you want me to prove that? Apollo, you here? Hey, Popo, after this, we can go into the
I'm pretty sure it's implied that Naruto just has more chocolate than, Kakashi. And speaking referentially to part one, even then, the argument does not work because you're saying that because ninjutsu is predicated on chakra type.
Hey, Duck, you just gave me an idea. I'm gonna, since you guys want me to debate Weeb again, I'm gonna use Drunken Lee versus Tuning Exam Sasuke. Because if I can improve and establish the scaling of Kimamaru being over base Sasuke, you know what I mean, with Chidori and Sharingan, then Drunken Lee should just shit on Sasuke.
I just predicated on chakra. They should be the same level. That's like saying a fucking piece of pen and a fucking metal should be the same level of durability and level or category because they're both made of atomic particles, which is just a bad argument.
No, let me tell you this. I'm gonna use an analogy against you. It's whoever has the strongest metal that will break through the other metal.
But you're saying that because you're basically saying if Sasuke's taijutsu or physical strength is incapable of breaking through Gaara's absolute defense, then that would entail that Sasuke, right,
Yes, he
has a
doesn't have
less
the
physical
chakra.
strength.
Yes, he doesn't
than
have the
Gaara,
chakra
which
level
is a
to
bad
break through.
argument because again, that just means that Sasuke's physical strength is not good enough to penetrate through Gaara's ninjutsu. That's not the same thing.
Oh my fucking god! Again, Apollo. Again.
I feel Trey's pain right now, bro. Like, on God, I really feel his pain. On God, like he's not lying. Like, this man's dumb as shit. He just does not listen. Amen, Duck. Amen to that scaling.
If you have more chakra than someone, you will break through that someone's chakra jutsu or whatever. It's shown multiple times.
And that's true. Even Kimamaru with the CM2 amp, where he gets more chakra and like kind of sage energy as well. So he's able just to fucking bulldoze through Gaara's sand, you name it and shit. So like, absolutely, definitely do agree. Better yet, Naruto's even shown with the massive amount of chakra amp, you name it, from the QB where he's breaking through Haku's mirrors, you name it, the whole fucking 9 yards. So yes, Trey is definitely correct on that. Absolutely.
Even shown with eighth gate guy when he fought Madara. Like, holy shit, it's shown multiple times that taijutsu can overpower a jutsu move. Like, I don't know why
Oh my god,
has more chakra.
you're not getting it.
I am getting it. It's just like your
Just
argument
because
is bad,
okay,
bro.
so Trey, I'm not denying that taijutsu can overpower ninjutsu in certain situations or under certain circumstances. What I'm denying here is that simply the inability to overpower a ninjutsu ability with the taijutsu entail that person with a ninjutsu preventing that person to penetrate him with the taijutsu has to have a higher taijutsu. It's like basically saying character B has a ninjutsu which prevents character A taijutsu from penetrating through character B's ninjutsu. That means character B's taijutsu is also stronger. That's a association fallacy.
We already agreed. I'm not finna go circular. I'm not finna go ring around the rosy with this shit. We already agreed
Right.
that makes up
You
this shit. Let's just go to
saying
conclusions. Let's just go to
Right.
conclusions.
Or
I'm done.
definitely.
can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Hey, we finna go to conclusions on Popo.
And not only that, Trey also already debunked that where when Sasuke went to punch at full strength, okay, not only does his knuckles look like they fucking broke and were bleeding, and his entire body was bleeding. He was losing blood from his legs, arms, and face. Like if this man had enough taijutsu power, like this other idiot is claiming, to break through Gaara's shit, don't you think he would have just did it with taijutsu and his Sharingan? No, he had to use Chidori. Like, this man's dumb. Fucking dumb.
Hello. Am I heard?
Yeah, we hear you, D1.
Oh yeah. Paul was just saying the fucking that Sasuke's physicality is over Gaara's physicality just because he couldn't punch through Gaara's absolute defense doesn't deny the fact that Sasuke's physicality is over Gaara's. So he's saying that like hand-to-hand combat, like if he was to punch Gaara without Gaara defending, like it would do damage to him than what Gaara would do. That's what he's saying.
No, I got you. Alright, hold on. Let me rephrase that. Hey, Popo, you still here, my boy? Or you finna crash out?
He's here, but he's saying he's too tired to give our judgments.
We still got the recording body in here?
Yeah.
No one kicked it yet. Not that, like, you...
Wait, let's just save this recording first, and then we can start the recording again.
Yeah, save it. Yeah.
No, I'm not caught up with Boruto yet. I'm on episode 49. I'm getting through it, but I'm on episode 49. And eventually most of those episodes will be posted on my YouTube. There's like, I think 2 or 3 episodes that are blocked on my YouTube due to like some copyright bullshit. Once it's refuted and dealt with, and those videos will be good to go, and then I'll release all my Boruto reactions with all those. But like I said, you guys gotta be patient with me with the whole Boruto reactions when it comes to releasing on YouTube, because sometimes it might take a bit to do it. But as for Twitch, if you're impatient and you don't want to wait, you can either watch me live when I'm watching them, or I'll make highlights of those videos. So basically, like, edit it and put it in a video format and put it in my highlights section on my Twitch account. So if you just go to videos, or go to like all videos or whatever, and go to highlights, you'll be able to see my reaction videos for the episodes, and you just have to go down and look for them, or just hit the arrows and just find them, and they'll be titled like what episode it is, and so on and so forth. So, but no, not yet, not fully. All right, so this debate is done, as you can see. So yeah, Trey won that shit with fucking dead ass, like with low diff. Like, no, I wouldn't even be that disingenuous. Mid diff. He definitely fucked his ass up. Not high diff, not low diff, mid diff. Apollo was kind of giving certain things and whatnot, going back and forth, making it contentious. And then he did win the point when it comes to Gaara, like being mentally nerfed the whole time and all that. But either way, like, Trey won the most important fucking main point, which is with that statement, what it's implying and being interpreted towards, and also basically connecting the dots and debunking it and so on and so forth of what it could pertain to and why, proving that as well. Also showing, the same emphasis of comparing and contrasting of Lee performing the same exact way Sasuke did of beating Gaara up, you name it, the whole 9 yards. Like, he said everything that needed to be said. The judge even agreed with him twice. He agreed to his points and conceded those points. It's not rocket science. It like, if you literally can't comprehend from what you just heard, like, and understand that Trey won this debate, like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Like, the guy literally agreed to both of his points and conceded. And the judge literally said, yes, he did that. It doesn't get any better than that. I don't know why they didn't give a fucking judgment towards the end. That's kind of annoying, but whatever. I don't know what was said or what happened with all that. But either way, definitely took an L. And if the judges said Apollo won that, definitely applying favoritism, and there's no equity. And that's some dick writing bullshit, because it's literally recorded. You guys heard it and everything. When you see this video and everything and give your thoughts, It's not rocket science who won that debate. So we're gonna do a comment. Let me read something. Nemesis said Trey W agreed. Apollo, Apollo, for more contents, agreed upon. Judge said I won along with every other competent debater. Trey needs to get better before approaching the big dogs. Apollo W. Yeah, you're fucking retarded. That once again, back to the whole ego nonsense. And then Trey's like, I slapped. Amen. Yes, you did, but like, okay. All right. So now I'm gonna give my comment. If I can fucking comment, the fuck. There it is. Alright, so we're going to recap. Yeah, Trey won mid-diff. He has incredible points, and you agreed to 2 points of his and conceded to them as well. And even the judge also agreed. And the most important point was won by Trey. Apollo should not have agreed. Change that. And conceded and should have provided better evidence to debunk or refute Trey's claims. Apollo is straight trash from what I just saw. And there you go. That's it. So we're going to put that there. And amen to that. It is what it is. As Bugs Bunny once said, the really winners are the friends we kill along the way. I don't know what his problem is, to be honest. Bruh, I feel you, man. But no, that's going to be it for that video, for this reaction video of the debate of Apollo versus Baby Trey. Pretty interesting debate. Trey definitely won that mid-diff. I really did enjoy it. And we'll kind of leave it there. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Comment your thoughts down below. Let me know who you think won the debate. Subscribe for more content. Subscribe if you guys love the channel. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.